If we've got one more session before our coffee break, all smokers say amen. If you're wondering who this beautiful digital lady is here next to the podium, I have no idea. I'm going to try and ask Sydney during the break. Sydney, who's this beautiful lady here next to me? It's maybe for a presentation later, is it? Yeah. Okay. Because no human can do that all the time. Eh? Okay. Next one is a very exciting topic. Paul Rothman, if you can come up so long. Paul is a speaker at MetaHuman Limited. The talk will be about MetaHuman's AI communication with the human face. Great topic, and good luck. We're looking forward
great.
to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So as you heard, my name is Paul Rothman, and today I'm speaking on behalf of MetaHumans. But as I'm standing here today, I actually represent a few different industries. On the one hand, I'm a lawyer. I'm the director at CSA, which is South Africa's largest employers company, and we help about 30,000 businesses with their legal compliance and with their industrial relations, typically your labor law. So I've been in that corporate environment for about 20 years now. And on the other hand, I've been in the entertainment industry for about 25 years. I saw Kobus was a bit confused yesterday when he saw me. That was from Pasela. So what I'm trying to establish here is that when it comes to the topics of AI and chatbots, I am super unqualified to speak about it. That we have Peter from MetaHumans for. But when it does come to the issue of corporate and business needs and how they relate to people dynamics, well, then I'm a bit more comfortable standing here and sharing my views. So I just have to quickly start by telling you that I was a bit uncertain as to how to start this conversation today. Because I know many speakers are joking as to whether they wrote their own talks or whether they used ChatGPT. So I went the alternative route. I asked my 6-year-old boy what I should say. His name is Wolf. And I made a big mistake because he was watching SpongeBob SquarePants at the time, so he was not very interested. But he did ask me what it's about. So I said, well, it's about chatbots. And he's like, wow, you mean like robots? And I was like, well, sort of, but not really. And he was like, are there going to be robots present? And I was like, well, sort of, but not really. Not going to really be here. And he's like, are you just imagining these things, Dad? And it's like, kept on watching SpongeBob. So a bit of an awkward conversation with my son. But that did give me the angle into today's talk. Imagination. And this is what I want you to start by doing. Just imagine. Imagine a technology that is highly intelligent. A technology that can interact with you. Technology that can solve problems. It's available 24/7. Okay, that's not so difficult. Now, we have those technologies already. But let's take it a step further. Imagine a technology that can speak to you and speak to you in your voice. A technology that looks like you. A technology that can express your emotions, your feelings. And ultimately, imagine technology that can quite simply be like you. Well, ladies and gents, when it comes to MetaHumans, that's no longer just limited to the realm of imagination. This is a new era we're entering. Because MetaHumans are AI-powered, life-like personas that can see, hear, and speak to you. And quite simply, create a very human interaction. And this is what MetaHumans is all about. It's driven by a world-class chatbot using knowledge bases, FAQs, databases. And sometimes I read these things, I don't even know what it means entirely. But I know the last part. The learning takes place through conversation and interaction. And that for me, as a stakeholder, as a representative of your final user and consumer of the products, this is important for me. Because this I can understand. If I can interact and teach my chatbot by way of conversation, this makes life far easier and more appealing to me. MetaHumans are part of the new artificial intelligence workforce. It's one of those revolutionary moments. And I think what we have to ask ourselves first is why? Why were they created? And I am the reason they were created, or I symbolize the reason they were created. Corporates and businesses have a number of problems that need to be addressed. And one of the core elements, quite simply, people dynamics. And keep in mind now, I come from the industrial relations background. People dynamics, whether it be on the side of the employees or on the side of the customer experience. That is the one big challenge that all companies and corporates face. And yes, there are many technological solutions, but let's start with the problem. Firstly, the simple old thing of staff turnover. In our game, whether it's dismissals, terminations, resignations, retirement, the fact of the matter is you are going to lose your staff at some point in time. And especially now with Gen Z and with the millennials, it's all about opportunity. People are moving the entire time. The old days where you would sort of get established in a company and just live your entire career there, they are long gone. So you are going to have a staff turnover. Now, considering the cost and time involved in training these individuals, that is a huge expense on your side. And this is something we live with. It's part of the game. We train them, we get them to a point where we are happy and satisfied with their service delivery, and at some point, they're going to leave again, and we have to revisit this entire cycle. Availability of staff. Ultimately, you only have so many hours in a day, you only have so many working hours in a day, and by law, you only have so many working hours. Accuracy. Even if we get the people that are now committed to our workplace, we've trained them well, how do we ensure that they constantly provide the correct information in the interaction with customers and clients? How do we monitor that quality the entire time? Scalability. Let's say we now did find this ideal employee. He's committed to the company, we've trained him well, he's got this wonderful repertoire with clients. How do we replicate or duplicate them? Can we do cloning yet? Maybe the next summit. Communication, whether it's a language issue, whether it's a cultural issue, these vary from individuals to individuals. And maybe sort of the magic element is the problem of inconsistency. Because even if you do indeed find this perfect employee, can do all of these things, he's always available, she's always available, she can replicate herself. People are people. And whether it's a personal, emotional problem at home, whether it's just a bad mood, you can never be sure that the interaction that the client has with your company and with that brand ambassador is consistent or pleasant. So these are just a few of the typical challenges faced by companies as a result of people. And how do we normally solve these problems? Well, to be fair, through other people. And typically we appoint managers now, because we appoint managers to make sure that the people performing these duties do the job right. They have to inspire them, do the quality controls, quality checks, and make no mistake, a good manager is worth her weight in gold. But the fact remains, managers are only people as well. And although they bring the human element and a sense of reasonableness, well, they're also fallible. And when that happens, now we start venturing into the world of technology. And I think what chatbots has done extremely well is to address a number of those typical shortcomings, those challenges of availability, of being consistent. Indeed, chatbots are very effective at that. But even chatbots have a few challenges. We know there are cost and time implications and challenges with chatbots as well. Sometimes the inputs are very manual, it takes quite a while by the time you actually have to implement it. Some of the info is outdated. But besides that, there's one major issue that we still deal with in chatbots, and that is the missing human element. So as much as managers might lose out on some of the quality control issues, they necessarily bring in the human element. Chatbots, however, lose out on that aspect. And here's what we have to admit to each other. People are ultimately emotional beings. It's a primal instinct of ours. We want to see somebody. We want to be able to connect with them. And especially in the world today in business, there's a shift moving more towards relationship-driven business as opposed to just giving the service. We are building relationships in business for continuity's sake. And if you do not have this human touch, if you do not have that experience of another person, and you have to keep in mind, this comes back from ancient days, our ability to see and experience another person related to our survival, to our sense of belonging. And in the absence of that, well, then we are not having the full experience. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where metahumans come into the game. Metahumans essentially combine artificial intelligence with emotional intelligence, converting these human faces into technological superpowers. Metahumans are incredible individuals. They create a more engaging and personalized experience. They become a consistent human touch point. So you're not dealing with new people on a regular basis. You're not dealing with inconsistent people on a regular basis due to your emotional state of being. No. You are dealing with a solid connection point with whom you can ultimately create a relationship, having this valuable emotional connection. You see, metahumans can show sympathy, they can have fun, they can even joke a bit. This is where we are headed, that next level of interaction between AI and people. Various industries already make use of the service. There are various partners participating, but these are the meta-humans. And I want to run through just a few key points because I know what we all want to do is we want to meet them in real life. So, simple principles. Train them once, they remember forever. Entirely scalable. One meta-human can serve 1,000 to serve 1 million customers. It is expandable as the technology advances. Available 24/7, 365. Available on just about any device. Fast implementation, depending on your industry, depending on the specifications of the technicalities, between 1 and 4 months, you're ready to go. It's also very industry specific. That makes it safe depending on the specific requirements of your industry, and it can be customized. But this is where it gets more interesting. MetaHumans offers its own chatbot platform, but can also integrate with other chatbot platforms. Got connective learning, so it can integrate and learn from other chatbots as well. We've got a low-code, no-code policy. For somebody like me, that means a lot, because otherwise I'm completely out of my depth. And here's the important two parts. It can be personalized. I saw some of the footage where these metahumans were created. It looked like a sci-fi film set. The recordings that take place, the emotional captures that need to take place. And then afterwards, all the technical stuff that needs to take place, we have to ask Peter about how they convert these elements. But what you're getting is a personalized metahuman that can share and interact with you as you need for your clients. Obviously, they are consistent and reliable, but I think the major element that the metahumans bring is the human element. And I think to illustrate that, we have to make it very practical. So you know when you go for a home loan, you have a lot of paperwork you have to complete. And you always want somebody to just come and sit with you and help you. No, because it's horrible, all those papers. You just want to sit and ask, what must I fill in here, what must I fill in there? But sometimes it's a bit awkward, because now you have to share your salary, you have to share your expenses, and as you're sitting there, you totally feel judged, don't you? Let's be honest, it's not lucky to share and expose yourself. Well, with a metahuman, you get all the benefits of this human interaction. You can ask questions. You can have a frank conversation. And at the same time, you're in this safe space. So it opens you up emotionally, but with all the safety factors. The same maybe with like a mental coach. Say, you have to divulge certain fears and insecurities about yourself, but you, again, feel slightly awkward and judged by the person in front of you. Here, again, we overcome that challenge. So you see how a metahuman is this beautiful blend between the needs of the person and the needs of technology, how we just merge those two. So currently, there are already over 45 metahumans, but as I explained, we can keep on developing and personalizing them to your specific needs. But ladies and gents, these are a number of bold statements I'm making, and it sounds amazing. At the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. So what I want to invite you to do now is meet one of our metahumans. This is Sophie. Now I'm going to say, this is the nervous part always of a presentation when you have to work with technology live in front of an audience. Can you all see here? Shall we quickly do a refresh? Is it refreshed? Okay. Click here to start a conversation. And can we just quickly admit that Sophie is I have to say, a very beautiful woman, pleasant on the eye, but you have a variety of metahumans to choose from. Okay, she's just loading. We have a slight connectivity issue, but let's see how it all pans out. Let's give a quick moment. Ooh, a bit nervous. Whilst you are sitting there, think of some of the questions you want to ask Sophie. What I can tell you is that she is refreshed every night. So she's not, that sounds horrible, doesn't it? But she's not storing the memory of the conversations at this point. Okay, click here to start a conversation. She's opening up. Kan ons maar praat. We did actually play with her outside. We did not play with her outside. We did have a conversation with her outside. It worked perfectly well. Is there anything we can do on the language? Was net nog 'n kansie gee? Let's just quickly go there. Ja, ons is op Engels. She's busy loading. And just by the way, the graphics you are seeing here, its origin lies in the gaming sector. That's why you have this high quality, high resolution, very lifelike portrayal. Should we encounter a slight technical problem here, we do have the same screen on the outside to come and have a conversation with us. In the meantime, what I can say to you is everybody that does come outside and have a conversation and scan the tickets will also receive a gift hamper, a mouse pad, a bag, and some other lekker goodies. So I'm playing for time now. Oh, are you all currently using the Wi-Fi and maybe blocking our system? Are you the guilty ones? An error, we do have a slight error here. Let's see. If I may ask you to quickly disengage from the Wi-Fi to just see if we can pick up speed.
Paul, while we're waiting, can I? Yeah, I want to see this, of course. But what about meta children? What if my 9-year-old wants a friend that's a virtual friend?
There are no limitations. In fact, with Peter, even if you go into the root of animals, lifelike animals that can converse and interact. So there are no real limitations other than your imagination.
Interesting. I think from a philosophical point of view, this is interesting because what will our human relationships in the future be if we start living more and more in a virtual world? Now, the business application, I understand here. I'm just thinking, imagine my child or his children live only in that world.
Well, I think we actually had a conversation last night with some of the speakers where there was the expectation that as we move into a more technological world, we will only immerse ourselves in it. But what we have seen over the past few years is actually the reverse. As technology frees us and gives us more options, more and more people actually tend to go outside and live an active life, to experience real life as well. So what we're seeing in general, as people utilize it more and become more successful at utilizing it, is actually that they are then engaging in more of the, I'm going to call it traditional activities as well. Look, time will tell. I think we're in a very interesting time, and this is a horrible example to use. Did you guys ever see the movie WALL-E? That little robot that cleaned up the place, and all the occupants of the spaceship were heavily overweight and were no longer physical anymore. But that prediction was shown to be false if you're looking at what's happening in the world now. We probably have more gym memberships, more active lifestyles, more external activities than ever before. So I think it's not a matter of an either-or conversation, but quite simply a new merging dynamic that will address both fields.
Interesting. Any one or two questions from the audience? There's one back there. Just wait for the microphone, please.
Hi there. It's a bit loud. Thanks for the talk. It's quite interesting what you guys are doing with digital avatars. I just wanted to check, is this meant to, you mentioned you're linking up more towards enterprises and businesses. So is this more on that level, or is this going to be something that's client-facing?
This is on all levels, and that's what I think that's the point we're trying to make, whether it's on the employer side in whatever...
Sophie, it's great to meet you. I'm a digital human. I can converse in many languages. What's your name? I'm Sophie. It is great to meet you. I'm a digital human. I can converse in many languages. What's your name?
Hi, Sophie. My name is Paul. Tell me, how many languages can you speak? Okay, we definitely have a bit of a kickback on the technology side today. Let's see if she picked it up. Hi, Sophie. How many languages do you speak? Okay, so it seems we do have an internet problem because it's working on the phone on a separate signal. Maybe what I'd like to recommend. Maybe that's a very good recommendation. Where you are now on your phone, go to MetaHumans Ltd. Not all at once, please. /Sophie, or come and join us outside. If you come outside, you also get the gift hamper. But I think for the technical questions, that's a conversation we should have outside. But what I can tell you, maybe in continuation to your question, the scope and the range of what metahumans can be used for are limited only by my initial statement, your imagination. This is a continuously developing process. And where it is now, where it will be in 3 months, 6 months, and definitely within a year, will be vastly different experiences. I also think as the chatbots and the metahumans become more and more integrated, the experience will be of a higher level as well. Right, ladies and gents, as we are experiencing a bit of an internet problem, please try it on your phone or just meet us outside at the stall.
Paul, that was fascinating. Thank you so much. Let's give him a warm hand. I encourage you to go and see them outside. Fantastic. Thank you.
Come get a hamper.
Yeah. So we are going to have a 20-minute coffee break now. Like U2 sings, with or without you, we're going to start in 20 minutes. So enjoy the coffee and the smoke and the networking. And